guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Chelsea and this is a very bookish girl. So I'm going to kind of be mashing up my read-a-thon mini-moji November wrap-up. I thought it was just going to be a little bit too much to do my read-a-thon and my mini-moji and my November all separately. So I figured I'd just kind of do it all in one big thing, and I'll go over my contemporary-thon books a little bit because that's my November wrap-up. Before I get into my wrap-up, this was actually the second read-a-thon that we just finished, and oh my gosh, you guys make it so much fun every round. I'm so excited to announce today the next year's read-a-thons. Yeah, that's right. Not only am I telling you when the next read-a-thon is going to be, but we have all of 2018 planned out, so I can let you guys know way ahead of time. So, Amanda, Jessica, and I are planning on hosting read-a-thon 4 times next year. 4 times. So the next read-a-thon that we are going to be having will be in February. So that'll give us it'll give you guys 2 months. It'll be the 3rd month. And we figure that way we can get through the holidays, get through the new year. And of course we'll have new challenges that will be month specific. And we're also going to be changing it up a little bit, but when we get closer we'll tell you guys more about all of that. Then we will be hosting another in May. We'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary in August, and then we will host another in November again. So, February, May, August, and November. So you guys can be super ready way ahead of time. That's when we're going to be hosting read-a-thon next year, and I can't wait, to see what you guys end up reading. I hope you guys did good. I think I did okay. I don't know. I haven't really taken a look at my list. So let's see what I got read this month. So I started off the month with Shatter Me by Tara Mafi. I ended up giving this book only 3 stars because I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I tried. I really did. I didn't like Warner at this point. We'll get into that later. This book was part of my Start and Finish a series. As we get into these, we'll see if I actually did that or not. So, but at the end of this book, I didn't like Warner. I couldn't stand Juliet. She just was not my cup of tea, and I didn't know where this was going, and I didn't really like it that much, so this was a 3-star for me. Then, the second book that I read this month was The Savage Song. Oh my gosh, so I just talked about this in my Top 5 Wednesday authors you want to write so I've already gushed about it a lot, but I loved this book so much and I can't wait to read the second one now. This was definitely a 5-star read. So for the read-a-thon, this was read a book outside your favorite genre and read a new to you author, because I've never read anything by V.E. Schwab or Victoria under either of her names. So this one got me 2 challenges, which was super, super good. Then I read something not for any of my readathons, and that was Adventure Time Volume 1. I have been getting a lot of comics on my Hoopla app, so I just decided, why not try this one out? I watched the show. Yeah, I'm like a little kid at heart, and I was entertained by it, so I checked out this comic. I ended up giving it 4 stars because it really stuck to the Adventure Time feel, and I thought it was entertaining for the most part. The next book that I read for readathon this month was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. This is her second book in her Wayward Children series. Because I know Beneath the Sugar Skies is coming out in the beginning of next year, and that's going to be the 3rd book, so I don't know how long this is actually going to continue for, but this follows 2 of the characters from the Every Heart a Doorway series before Every Heart a Doorway happened. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed the first one, maybe just because I had a lot of problems with the characters' parents, and I had a lot of problems with the characters themselves and the situations that they were in. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, but I did end up giving it 4 stars. It was still entertaining, and I still did like learning about these 2 characters before they were at the school in Every Heart a Doorway. For readathon, this completed my reading the library book that's due back the soonest, and it also got the challenge of reading a book in 24 hours, so another one that got me 2 challenges. Then the next book that I read this month, you guys already know about it, Stash and Lily's Book of Dares. I gave this 4 stars. I am actually kind of interested in reading the second book to see, I think it's the following year with Dash and Lily. I thought it was cute, definitely good for this time of year, and it got me a lot of challenges. So For Contemporary-thon, this was to read a book not set in summer and to also read a book that was older than 5 years. The fifth book that I read this month was Like Water by Rebecca Potus. Another one I talked about. This was a Contemporary-thon book. This was their group read, but then it also got me the Read-a-thon challenge of buddy reading a book because everybody that was participating in Contemporary-thon read this book, so I buddy read it with a lot of people. Ended up giving it 3 stars. Not my cup of tea, but I wanted to read it beforehand anyway, so I'm glad that I actually did end up reading it. And then the next book that I picked up wasn't for any readathon, of course, and that's Milk and Vine. So obviously this is a play off Ruby Kaur's Milk and Honey. I hate that the cover is like, you can see fingerprints on it. It's so gross, but it's a little thing, and it has literally just vines. Funny vines from I don't know if you guys know what Vine was, but it's really funny, and I thought it was hilarious, and it was like $6, so I picked it up. Like, it has my favorite vine. Oh, it's an avocado. Thanks. So this was definitely a fun read. I think I ended up giving it like 4 stars because it's kind of shitty they didn't actually credit any of the Viners for who, like, the actual content creators. So that's not really cool, but it's cool to have all of the Vines in one place that, like, I can read them and I can hear them in my head. The next thing that I read this month, again, was not something for any of my readathons, and that was Giant Days Volume 3. I am really enjoying this series. It's really fun. I don't want to talk too much about this one because, of course, it's the third one. This was 9 through 12, if I remember correctly. It follows 3 girls overseas that are at university together and, like, all the antics that they get into. And I can't wait to keep going with this series because the art style is so cute and the storyline is really entertaining. I don't know if I said, but I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Then the next book that I read this month was Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This was a readathon and Contemporary-thon. So for Contemporary-thon, this was my LGBTQIA+ book. For readathon, this was my Read a Book in Another Readathon. I've already talked about this in my Contemporary-thon wrap-up. I'll link that up in the cards. Now, I don't know why I never mentioned that, but I will do that if you guys want to hear me talk a little more about this book, but I went pretty in-depth on that because I ended up reading a lot for Contemporary-thon. The next book that I read this month was Invaded by Melissa Landers. This is the second book in the Alienated trilogy. I don't want to talk about too much. I did talk about some of it I did talk about it a little in my Contemporary-thon wrap-up. For Contemporary-thon, this was my taboo one because it's an alien and a human. But then it also counted for readathon because I ended up listening to a lot of these on audiobook, but this was my audiobook challenge specific readathon book. That was another one I got. I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like a whole lot actually happened in this book. Like a lot, and you definitely learn a lot more about like what's going on. And I'm really interested to see how they're going to wrap it up in the third book. And then in November, I read Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. This was my Contemporary-thon adult read. It was really cute. I liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It reminded me of the Hating Game. Tons of fun. I'll put it up. The video. Just go watch it if you want to know more about these ones. And the last book that I read for Contemporary-thon this month was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This was the most recent contemporary book that I had purchased, and it didn't count towards the readathon. I didn't have a challenge for this one. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I liked it a whole lot more than I thought it would. I don't know, I like Peter and I like Josh, so I'm going to have to continue the series and see how it goes. And then tragedy struck. I read Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. This was my readathon thriller challenge. I still don't really know what happened in this book. Like, I know what happened, but I don't understand. So this book is told backwards. I don't even want to say any more than that because I know a lot of E. Lockhart books are a lot better going into them without knowing anything. I read We Were Liars earlier this year, and I really loved it. So maybe because I had such high hopes going into Genuine Fraud, but I finished it, but I didn't like it. So this one was only a 2-star read for me, which kind of stinks. And then the next book that I read was Unravel Me by Tahara Mafi. Again, this is towards the start and finish a series. for Read a Thin. So in this one, a lot more stuff happens. This is the thickest of the 3 books. Still didn't like Warner. I did actually like this one more than the first one. I felt that a lot of the characters actually became more likable during this. I do like Kenji, so I get how people really like him. Still not caring for Juliet either, but her and Adam kind of broke my heart. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Then the next book that I read this month was An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. This was a read-a-thon challenge again. This was to read a book that you had set down previously. I had gotten to, this book is divided into 3 parts, and I'd gotten about 100 pages into the second part when I wasn't really reading anything more than contemporary, but now I'm branching out into fantasy and sci-fi, and I picked this one back up, and I ended up finishing it, and I really did end up liking it. I really liked Elias, and I really liked Laya, and I love their story. And like the end of this book was just like so mind-blowing. I'm really glad that I have A Torch Against the Night so I can continue this series, because oh my gosh. But I'm really also pretty proud of myself that I actually picked this back up and finished it after having set it down before, because I knew I liked the characters and I liked where it was going. I just wasn't feeling it at the time, so pretty proud. Then the next book that I picked up this month was for Minimoji, and that is What Light by Jay Asher. This completed the challenge of reading a book with snow on the cover, and it was also the Christmas spirit, because it took place around Christmas time, because this is about a girl who lives, I read it and now I can't even remember. She lives in Utah, I think, during the summer, and then she goes down to California where her family sells the trees that they grow on a lot. And she ends up meeting a boy who she is told is not a good boy, but she ends up falling for him anyway. It was really short. It was really cute. It wasn't anything like spectacular. Like, it was adorable, but it wasn't like, it didn't really keep me like super enthralled or anything. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's a good one for this time of year, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, you need to go read it now. It is something cute to pick up and read at some point, though. So the next book that I picked up this month was for Read-a-thon and Minimoji, and that is Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rosh. This was my travel challenge and my audiobook challenge for Minimoji, so that ended up completing 2 challenges for Minimoji for me. And then this was also my fall-themed cover, because it's kind of fall. I decided to just go ahead and go with it. This is the second book in the... Is it the Smell Like Ashes series? Is that what they call it? I don't know, but this is the second book. It was really good in the beginning, and then it kind of slowed down a whole lot. But then the end, like, literally so much stuff happens in the last, like, 2 chapters after sitting there and having nothing happen. I was just like, what? Wait, what's going on? Huh? No? Huh? What? So... this is definitely going to be an interesting one to pick up the 3rd book and see the end of the series. I've really become attached to the characters. I love Mother. I am okay with Mira. She kind of pissed me off in this book. I'm not so okay with Theron anymore, but I don't really want to talk about why. And there's some new characters that are introduced in this series, or in this book, that I love, and I can't wait to see if they show up in the next one. So of course I ended up giving this one, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, because it wasn't as blow me away as the first one, because it did have that lull, but it was still pretty good. And then the last book that I will finish reading, because it is the 30th, I'm going to finish this tonight because I'm already in it, and you might be able to guess. It's Ignite Me by Tauro Mafi. So I'm going to finish my Read-a-thon Start and Finish the Series challenge, which I tried last Read-a-thon and didn't actually do, so I'm super excited. I'm going to go and finish this while this is uploading, so I don't know too much, just probably guessing from where I am, it's going to be another 4-star book. Oh, I don't, Warner, like, I'm understanding his decisions now and what he's done. I understand. I'm going to say I'm on the fence right now, because I still have a bit to go, but I don't know. I'm not going to say that I like him yet. I will finish this. If you guys want to know, like, my final thoughts on this, I'll link my Goodreads in the description, and I'll probably blab in my wrap-up of this book when I actually do finish it. But this is getting finished tonight, so I can complete my Read-a-thon challenge.
I don't know how people do this. Can I? I can't even fit them all in frame.
So I scooted you guys back because I couldn't fit all of this in frame. But I read 18 things this month. So maybe when you see my December TBR won't be too crazy since I read 18 things this month and I have 20 on my December TBR, but I got a lot done. I'm pretty proud. I'm in the shadows because I don't know. I don't want to die. I'm going to put these down. That was my Read-a-Thin Minimoji re-wrap up contemporary-thon November. That's everything I read in November, my 3 readathons that I participated in. Oh, and I didn't even mention, guys, I didn't even mention that I started Warcross by Marie Lu, loving it, but I didn't get to finish it. I started They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, again, loving it, but just didn't have time. And I started Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray, again, loving it, just haven't had time. I didn't have time. These were all 3 Minimoji books. I substituted these 2 into Minimoji to make them fit, but I still didn't have time to read them because this week's been a little bit crazy. But they were also Read-a-Thin books, all 3 of them. So hopefully I'll finish these ones in December. I guess we'll see. Thanks for watching. I will have my December TBR tomorrow. Also, let me know if you guys want to see a bookshelf tour. I'm getting new bookcases tomorrow so I can have room to actually have my books because this is a mess. So when that's done, let me know in the comments if you want to see something like that, and I'll see how I can do it because I record on my laptop. I don't have a fancy camera, but I would definitely try if you guys want to see something like that because I have a lot of books. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!